Seltzer Time.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. It's your boy Ricky, aka Dick Chuck, aka the man behind the can at Seltzer Time Official. Here is the conversation accomplice, the man with the hunch about Worcester, Travis.
What is cracking, Fizzle Fiends? Welcome back to another episode of the Seltzer Time podcast. And per usual, we are stoked that you're here. Yeah, I actually landed the intro this time because we didn't have our guests springing up in the middle of. It was so dumb that I tried to sneak it in. And I knew the second I said we were going to try to do that, it was going to happen.
I mean, it also probably didn't help that we were interviewing like the most well put together human being I think either of us know.
Have you went back and watched his YouTube yet?
No, I have not had time. But I still have the note on my desk, which I was going to try to clean up today.
Seltzer Time, subscribe to him.
Okay, but hell yeah. Tomorrow it's my afternoon.
He had a super interesting video about what it took to actually get the food truck. He ordered that shit from overseas and had it shipped here.
Really?
Yeah, it's fascinating. We barely touched the surface in that interview.
We're going to have him on again.
We're going to have him on when we can have pancakes.
True.
But yeah, so that was a fun episode, but it's hangout night. It's the episode where you get to catch up with the boys. Hey, Ricky, what you been up to? I'm going to take my shirt off over here.
Do it. Oh, damn. What's up? I am wildly distracted right now. I'm just kidding. Yeah, man, I've been good. I have been crazy busy. I think last weekend I worked outside in the yard and accomplished more in a 2-day period than I have in a very long time.
So what are you busy doing? You just raking and mowing?
Dude, I mowed the first mow of the year went down on Sunday. That was pretty exciting.
I saw something about post mow beers hit better.
Oh, we got a sign. We got a sign coming up for that. It's not going to be tomorrow because I forgot to have you make a Cinco de Mayo one. But we have a soft tacos and hard seltzer sign, and I'm going with that because
perfect.
The only other thing I could think of is like
I assumed that's what that sign was for.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I got real fucking lucky with the group of signs that I sent you for this week because we had, what the hell was it? There was the one for today. I didn't have one for today. I posted the Jawbreaker one. It just happened to be. So Jawbreaker has this song. Oh my, I know I'm going to say it wrong if I try to say it. Oh, come on. It's Sluttery. I think.
Sluttery.
I know yes. Sluttering. I knew, I was like, it's slut something. Sluttering. And then in parentheses, it's May 4th. And there was something about today that besides the fact that I listened to a Jawbreaker podcast last week, and there's a documentary I'm trying to squeeze into my schedule this week. So I've had Jawbreaker on my mind a lot, and Blink, but I woke up this morning and it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I didn't have you make a Star Wars sign. I kind of forgot. The beginning of May is like a crazy time. It's Naomi's birthday on the 3rd, and then it's our anniversary on the 4th. So I kind of forget about
It's your anniversary tonight?
It's our anniversary right now, yes.
Why are we recording?
No, it's all good. We had dinner earlier.
We've recorded on her birthday and on your anniversary. Your fiance has every right to just punch us both right in the mouth.
I think we actually also recorded on her birthday last year, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So it worked out yesterday where we recorded right when I got off work. then we hung out the whole rest of the night. And then tonight it worked out where like we couldn't record until later. And so we hung out all day. And then, yeah, she had just had a call thing and now I'm on this. So yeah, it's all gravy.
Phew. Well, I don't want to upset your fiance. I want to be able to stick around.
No, she's good. She loves you.
Maybe even come to your house once everything gets.
Dude, I mean, you're vaxxed, right?
Oh, I'm double dosed and feeling feisty, my man.
We actually had some friends over the weekend who were vaxxed and had a little like fire and some outdoor beers. So whenever you're ready, we'll figure something out.
Sarah gets her second dose this Friday.
Sick.
I'm
set something up.
Yeah.
There you go. Showing that card off.
I don't think you see any details, but I'll check it in the edit.
I don't think you can. It looks pretty blurry. It looks like just like a white card.
Perfect. I swear it wasn't just a white piece of paper. And it's a piece of paper that says I can go party.
There you go. Yeah. So like just get a lot of yard work done. Shout out to the signs. The Jawbreaker thing was a pure coincidence where I just happened to post a Jawbreaker sign on Jawbreaker Day, even though it wasn't a song that floated.
It wasn't that song.
It wasn't that song. It was a different song. But still, Jawbreaker for everything. The fucking best band. Yeah, outside of that, this week I'm attending Social Media Week, which is an ad week.
All week. I didn't realize it was all week.
It's all week. So it's weird because like they're doing it virtual. It's a virtual conference. It's still super, super interesting. And I have like 4 pages of notes from I think I only got to listen to 3 speakers today just because I also had work.
Like your job to do. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I had to work. And I'll be doing that all week, but today was a lot. I was extremely busy. So tomorrow I'll get to listen to a lot more. It's super interesting. I'm really excited. Even some of the things I have today are things that will definitely lead into Seltzer Time stuff. So I'm pretty pumped.
Excited to hear about them. I love Adweek's TikTok. We talked about this off air, but
they're killing it right now.
They put together a 1 minute, like, this is what you missed in the weird world of advertising. Yeah. And it's all like the biggest hype events and like the weirdest product intro things that happened in the past week. I get this big dose of information in 60 seconds. It's awesome. Super awesome.
Yeah, they're killing it. So yeah, no, I'm stoked. I mean, there's a lot of ideas to bring to work. There's a lot of ideas that obviously are going to be flowing through my mind that will probably use
and inspired and then use it. Exactly. That's the one thing about those conferences, man. They're super great about making you feel like you can tackle the world while you're there and maybe like 2 days after. But as soon as like you get back to normal life, it's so easy to forget that feeling. So it's like, capture that shit in a bottle and go.
I'm the guy who I need to take notes, even if my notes wouldn't really work for anybody else. Like they're just something for me to spark what I saw. Otherwise I'll totally forget. So yeah.
I feel you. Well, so like I have that book Traction that we talked about a while back that I'm listening to again because
I haven't finished reading it.
Oh, dude, just reread it. Like it's funny. I've picked up different things each time I've listened to it. And like, where I was a year ago when I listened to the audiobook the first time, I'm facing different challenges in my career. So like different parts are hitting more. And it's like, I don't really read a lot of self-help style books. This is probably one of the few, especially one of the very few that I've read twice. But still, I love that shit.
Oh yeah, dude, totally. I think if self-help book wise, I think I've maybe only read 2, and I think I've listened to 1 or 2, maybe. They're not, there's a lot of really great information in those. And to me, they're more of a like, hey, this is what I did. Like maybe something will work for you. And I've definitely taken stuff from them for sure. And it's very much so helped me. But I also, I don't know. I feel like that's not how I like learn stuff.
I can understand that. It's also how it's presented. Like a lot of business books or self-help books tend to be very, very boring, where like one of my favorite books is by this author, Austin Kleon, and it's called Steal Like an Artist. And it's all about like challenging your creativity and challenging roadblocks and recognizing that it's not necessarily a roadblock. you're the block in and of itself and getting over that. And it's super, super fascinating. But the book is this like 8x8 little square pages, minimalistic design. So it looks thick, but each page you can read in 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh, cool. I have a book. I'm not going to get up because I'm connected to this computer via headphone, but there's a book over there. Sorry to cut you off. There's a book over there.
That's what a conversation is.
That's a good point. That I received. It might have actually been the first book that I ever bought in my entire life. And it is easily the book that I've read the most. It's a book that I did a lot of book reports on in middle school. And I'm pretty sure that they only passed me because it was just the stupidest thing ever. The book is called Blink-182 Tales from Beneath Your Mom. And it's mostly just pictures of them when they were like 20. And there's the pages, like the words on the page, at most there's like a paragraph on a page, but it's just, it's like it's kind of like a biography, but it's like the most Spark Notes version of a biography that's ever existed. I think MTV put it out, if I remember correctly, it has an MTV logo. But yeah, that's my favorite book ever. I can't wait to have a kid someday so I can just read him this book, because you can read the whole thing in like 25 minutes, if that. Probably even
mostly
more now.
Pictures.
It's mostly pictures. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's as long as you spend looking at the photos.
Yeah, it's basically a series of like well-placed tweets. It's like if Twitter and Instagram had a child.
Oh, that's
the perfect way to describe a book that I would enjoy. Like, okay,
this book I was talking about, this How to Steal Like an Artist. Yeah. This might be like one step above that, but not far. Okay. And one step towards the self-help column.
Okay. There might be some self-help stuff in that Blink book. I'll reread it this weekend, or maybe even tonight.
It's got to be some stuff of like what not to do.
No, it's mostly, I probably like planned out most of my life based off of it during my formative years of middle school and probably
at what point did it say work at Starbucks? Is that like chapter 6?
Did it say work at Starbucks?
Is that shitty? I'm sorry. I was trying to be funny.
No, you're good. You're good. I actually have something I need to send you that I don't know if we'll do that, but we'll see. I wonder if any of them were baristas. I know Swayze, like that rapper Swayze, he worked at a Starbucks. I don't know if the Blink guys did. I'll reread it. I really hope there's a thing in there where it's like, so I was working at Starbucks and I'll just be like, see, there it is. I'm basically in Blink.
Put it in the story. Yeah. Oh my God. I feel bad. I wasn't meant to be crappy about that.
No, you're good, man. I worked there for so long.
Well, I feel like we've talked about it so many different times.
Yeah, it's part of the journey.
It's part of the Nelson story, or this Ricky Nelson anyway.
We could do a whole episode about my Starbucks career, and it would probably be definitely the funniest episode we've ever had, because I've done some dumb stuff.
I've actually always thought it'd be funny to have Hillary on. Hillary was your boss, right?
Yeah.
And just have her tell the stories of like what it was like to work on the other side of Dick Chuck. So
she, what a way to phrase that.
I didn't mean it like that.
She was my hiring manager. So she hired me. She hired me, and she also technically hired Caitlin in Worcester, even though Caitlin had worked at Starbucks in New York and like transferred. She like technically got rehired. So it's kind of her fault that I work. Like she's the one who brought me on and really got me to open up and become
Caitlin talks about it.
Starbucks guy.
How Ricky wasn't Ricky before he worked at Starbucks.
No. I was always me. When I first started working there, I, first of all, had never even drank Starbucks. I had one Frappuccino before this in my entire life. I didn't know anything about what that place was about. I just knew that like, oh, it's expensive coffee that nobody I know drinks. And I technically got hired. We should say this for that episode, but I technically got hired at 2 stores in one day. And the only reason why I chose the one that I worked at was because I was 20 and single. And when she was like, so I'll offer you a job, do you think you would take it? I looked around and I was like, well, I'm in love ×9. So yeah, this might work for me.
I think you've told me that story. but
It was lovely. We'll do
it's
an
amazing.
episode. We
It's
can
an
go
amazing
in,
idea.
We can go in deep. I've got some Starbucks stories that.
Oh, we've talked about the time you yelled at the guy out the door.
Oh yeah, that was pretty epic. But we can go. For
They get
days.
better.
I have the original Starbucks window sign from the Gold Star store, like the one on Grove Street. There's like there was like a sign that hung in the window that lit up, and I forget how long. So this would have been my third manager, was our manager at the time. But he'd only been our manager for like literally like 6 days. And then they closed our store for, I think, a week or something to remodel it. And that's what they remodeled it into what it is now. Like even as crust, like Starbucks remodeled it to kind of those bones, and ruined that store. But when they did, they also put like the new signage in, and I'll never forget being like, yo, like, I know we can't take anything because it's like corporate, but I really want that sign. So at the time I was definitely the longest standing employee in that store, because Caitlin was gone at this point. She was in Colorado. And so Chris went in to like check on everything. Like the guys were working on it, but they were just like some construction crew. He went in, he's like, oh, I'm just gonna like take this with me. And one of the guys was like, I literally don't fucking care. And so he gave me, I have half of the sign. I'm going to probably hang it up in here. It's in the,
does it still light up?
No. Cause it was basically like a metal frame, a metal circle. The light was in the middle, and then there were two like caps on it.
So it's like translucent.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could put like a little LED light behind it if you wanted to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Could totally do that. Maybe
that's fun. We'll that's super fun.
Yeah, got that.
Thievery is fun.
I have a letter which led to the old like second in charge of Starbucks. His name was Cliff Burrows. I don't know if he's actually still at the company. He was like some English dude, but he was like the second in command. It went Howard Schultz, Cliff Burrows. Cliff Burrows called to speak to me because a customer emailed him this like rave review of how awesome I was. So he literally called the store, and like I had no idea who he was. So one day I get there and they're like, yo, Cliff Burrows called for you. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? And all I could think of was Alex Burrows from Vancouver Canucks. And I was like, that makes no sense.
I'm getting called up.
Like, I hate this guy, but like, why is he calling me? And
maybe you heard what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. So then, this is another story I was probably saved for the podcast, or for that episode, but like, fuck it, we're already in it. So I get to work one day. They're telling me that Cliff Burrows called. I'm wildly confused. Then they tell me who he is. Now I'm like even more confused, and also like, what could I possibly have done? Like I've been
fucked up on a national scale.
Like, yeah, like the global, dude. Like I've been like pretty well behaved. And they're like, I don't know. He didn't leave a message, but he's going to call back. And I was like, okay. Well, he called back at like 7:30 in the morning on a Friday, which is a wildly busy like time and a wildly busy day. So there's a line at the door. I'm on bar, banging out drinks, falling in love, whatever, doing my thing. And all of a sudden my boss, like I heard the phone ring, but like somebody's back there.
At your job, right?
You're
a barista at that point.
I don't do phones. Also, every time I answer the phone, I always joke that I was going to say, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? I did it twice and got written up. So I kind of just stayed away from the phone. Turns out you're not supposed to do that. Whatever. So I'm like doing my thing. And then all of a sudden my boss comes out and she's like, hey, like there's a phone call for you. And I'm like, yeah, okay. There's a line at the door. Like I'm not moving. She's like, no, it's Cliff. I'm like, can you have him call me back? She literally was like, I'm not telling the person who's second in command at Starbucks to call you back. Like you can step away to go back there. And I was like, okay. I went back, I answered the phone. I was like, hello? Like very much like, I was like 22, I think.
You didn't know who the fuck this guy was still.
No, so I'm like, hello?
Yo, what up, fam?
What up? I was like, what's up, man? And so I was like, hello? And he's like, hey, Ricky. But he's got like this cool English accent, like cool, killing it, boss man guy shit.
Killing it, boss man English accent.
And he's like, did you just tell them to have me call you back? And I was like,
oh, he heard that.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of our rush. And we have a line. It's like really long. I just felt weird, like leaving the bar. And he was like, I just need you to know that I respect that so much. And I was like, cool. But I still didn't know why he called. So now I'm like, all right, word. But also like, bitch, you should. And I barely know who he is. Like, so I was like, all right, cool. So then, so he's like, oh, I just wanted to call. I'm like, thank you so much. Like, I got this email. I'm going to forward it over so you can see it. It was from like one of the best regulars anywhere has ever had. And it was like a glowing review of how you make her day and you know her drink and you're so sweet to her and like all this shit. And I was like, cool. And then, so it was basically just like a giant thank you. Like there was no like,
you didn't get money.
No, hell no.
No, he just disrupted your day. What a douche.
Right. And I was like, oh, cool. Thanks, man. And then I like went right back out and just kept working. And the whole time, then I like started to laugh midway through the day because I was like, yo, that was kind of dope. Like, the dude, like second in command for Starbucks called, and I was like, "Can you tell him to hold on a second?" It was sick. So yeah, tune into our episode where we talk about my Starbucks career because there's days of stories.
Oh, stories. All right, this is a weird segue. I jokingly said last episode that I would tell you the story of how I went to the strip club with Secondhand Serenade. Yes. And it's really not even that interesting of a story. My buddy used to book at the Webster Theater in Connecticut, and the Secondhand Serenade guys played. It's basically one dude and a mismatch of band.
Yeah.
And the guy was supposedly wrote the whole album about his wife that he loved, and he was cheating on her the entire time, cheating on her with like two different girls at that stop. So he was preoccupied. So the band was bored, and my buddy had to entertain him for a couple hours. So we went to the strip club, and it was boring. Those guys were boring. And that's it. That's my Secondhand Serenade story. See?
Oh, I've got a really great strip club story from New Orleans with Mayday Parade, but we'll save that for a potential other.
When we get one of the Hurricane Betty's dancers to come.
Yeah. We can talk about the.
Thanks for asking. My week's been great. I've been really busy. The Worcester Bombers are hard at work, which are Woot Nanny's new baseball team that they created. They pulled the Boston Red Sox out of the Major League Baseball and have replaced them with the Worcester Bombers, which is a Woot Nanny Smile logo team. Brian made the smiley face logo that they have in the game. So they actually have like atrocious green and red, like not atrocious. They're good jerseys, but they are vibrant, boy. Okay. Like you'd be noticed from 200 yards out.
I'm into it.
But it's fun. The game's ridiculous. I even started picking it up, and I suck at hitting, but I like pitching. So now I'm playing a major league player. I started with the Sea Dogs, got picked up by the Worcester Red Sox, and then I only played.
You just triggered half of the
stadium isn't in here. Don't worry. The stadium isn't in here. I was told recently that I'm old Worcester, and that I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
You made it?
I said something, and whoever looked at me like, oh, dude, that's old Worcester. I went, son of a bitch.
Uh-oh.
It was Sean. It was Sean.
Classic Sean.
And I'm getting crazy busy with Hunchback stuff. Like Hunchback Graphics is swamped at the moment. And
that's not a bad thing.
No, it really isn't. It's getting to the point where I need to figure out somebody to help me do some shit. Like, I almost want like an admin project manager style person. I guess I'm putting that out in the world. If you're interested in something like this, hit me up, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. This is my hiring process. And then I've been doing this really cool design after hours with a group of designers where once a month we've been just kind of hitting up on a Zoom. And now that everybody's getting double dosed and feeling fantastic, we're talking about potentially bringing it to real life and that's cool. Picking like a random bar or something in the city and then inviting other creatives to just show up, call it after hours, 5 to 7 on a random Friday. Come show up, come and grab a drink, come network, schmooze, bump elbows.
That's dope.
Why not? So now that you have like a adult job, you can actually get off at 5 and do that kind of stuff.
I'm off at 4, dog.
With time to spare.
Get off, maybe work out, something I don't do yet.
And, are you working out?
No, I did the bike thing 3 days in a row, and then I ran
Peloton.
I ran out of time since last Thursday. I actually genuinely have not had time.
I respect the hell out of it.
But I'm hoping tomorrow too. I actually like really enjoy it. It actually does like make me feel a lot better. And it's really, really fun. And it's only 20 minutes. They're only like 20-minute rides. So it's like a 20-minute ride or like a little more sometimes. And then like a 5-minute stretch. So for like 25 minutes isn't that bad. But I just
bang out a little workout.
Genuinely have not had time. So
I've been doing the push-ups throughout like the day. I'll try to just knock out a set of 15 to 20 push-ups. Try to go real slow. But I'm not really one for like aerobic style workout.
Yeah.
Sarah's been getting up every morning at like 5:30. And then,
that's what I want to do. But
it's gross.
Every day Naomi gets mad at me because I set my alarm for like 6:15 or 6:30. She's like, why? I'm like, because I'm going to get up. I'm not going to, it's not to work out. It's to like actually get stuff out of the way before I work. Like other things I have going on.
Like have a morning.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I'd like to get up and like post like the Seltzer Time stuff and like the powwow stuff and like my own stuff, and then get into work with like a clear mind. All my side things are done and ready to roll, and I can deal with them later in the day. And I can just kind of like jump into the day focused. But instead I get out of bed at like 7:24 basically, which is an hour after my alarm goes off, and I snooze it a couple times. And then I brush my teeth and pour my coffee, and I get in here and I'm on at like 7:29. I'm like, all right, let's go. Party on. Now I got to try to figure out how to do all this at the same time. Great. That's
maddening.
Yeah, it's,
I've been getting up at 6. I've been trying to go to bed for like 11:30 and getting up at 6. It's not gross that she gets up and works, and it's not gross that she's working out. That I love. It's gross that she's getting up so early just because that's early.
Yeah.
But a lot of times if I wake up, go downstairs, like start making coffee, start doing some shit down, and come back, she'll be working out in our room, and our room gets hot. So she'll just work out without clothes on. And that's a wonderful way to wake up every morning. I have a coffee in hand, get a little view of the workout. Nice job. Keep it up. Proud of you.
There you go.
Coffee and roll on.
Solid ass start to the day.
I'm telling you, it helps keep the marriage spicy.
Love it. I'll get there when I stop hitting snooze. I'll be working out naked, and everyone's like, what are you doing?
In front of the big windows in your living room. The only people that would see are Naomi's parents. So.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, maybe this isn't the best. I'll have to still come into the office and do it.
Hi, Mom.
What's up? Read my Blink book. Like
that sounds lovely.
Yeah, solid start of the day.
Yeah.
Cool. The Woo Sox started tonight.
Did they now?
Yeah, tonight was their first night playing.
Did they win?
They're in New Jersey. I don't know, actually. No, they were losing 2-1, or I think last I checked. But I was also like, the Bruins are on, the Boston Red Sox are on. So I've kind of just been checking everything. And
it's a busy sports night.
It's a very, very busy sports night. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably check after this.
What do you think about that dude from the Rangers? The one that had somebody took somebody out last night.
Oh yeah, piece of shit. Tom Wilson from the Capitals, who took out
the guy from the Rangers.
Yeah. Well,
and he didn't face suspension.
No, he got a fine $5,000, which is nothing. He's a horrible person who shouldn't be in the league because he has issues like this. It's not even that he's like a dirty hockey player. He's a bad human being. There's no excuse for you to have these types of incidents, 4 times a season and continue to play in the National Hockey League. It's bullshit. They're cheap hits. They're wildly dangerous.
So dangerous.
Yes. He's a very bad person. And
I saw a kid get concussed with that kind of a hit.
Yeah,
back when I played early hockey.
He's a garbage person. So yeah.
I came across my Twitter today. And again, I'm not very much a sports person, but it was enough that I had to go find out the story.
Yeah. He is That's never good. Yeah, he's not a good person at all. He's had a lot of issues with like Bruins players that he's like Brandon Carlo made his return tonight, and he originally got hurt because of Wilson. Piece of shit. That was like, I don't know, 2 months ago, a month ago, like that. He's an asshole. I hate him very much. We officially announced Powwow.
Yeah, we did.
That's a fun thing.
And got the patronicity up and running and updated the website. Yeah, I'm pumped. Here. August 13th to 22nd.
Yeah, man, I'm really stoked. I think it's gonna be
interesting. And like as we continue to figure out what we're able to do safely, like our attorney is suggesting that we consider in-person events. And we're like, come on, attorney, I don't know, but he's not wrong. Like,
I mean, they're announcing festivals, like music festivals, concerts, all that stuff is literally getting announced now. Governor's Ball got announced today.
Gov Ball got announced, really?
So Gov Ball, I actually, I'm such a fucking weirdo. I love the way that they did this. They announced it today. It's the 10th anniversary of Gov Ball. It's not the same lineup as last year when they originally announced the fest, like last year's lineup. So it's actually like, I think completely different, which is awesome. So they're moving it. It's not going to be on the island where it normally would hold, I think like 100,000 people or 80,000 people, something. It's a massive number of people that can be there. They moved it to Citi Field, which is where the Mets play. So it's like probably between like 50 and 65,000. I don't actually know how many people can fit in there. We could easily look it up. So it's going to
be less people.
It's less people by like a significant amount, which 100% is because of COVID, which makes a lot of sense because
they can contain it more.
You can contain it more, but you're not running the risk of having this 3-day festival on where you have to build the entire thing because you're just in a giant field.
Oh, and then get people out.
Oh, you now have an infrastructure. You're in
Still too soon for that kind of stuff to me.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, if it depends on where things are, obviously, but I think the moving it to a smaller contained spot makes a lot of sense.
Oh, agreed.
The lineup's kind of rad. It's like the headliners are Billie Eilish, who's fucking awesome, Post Malone, and A$AP Rocky, I think, is the middle day. Yeah, I think that's who it is. Which like that's all cool. Like I don't really care about A$AP. I saw A$AP play this Newfound Glory thing at a college once. It was kind of weird.
I randomly watched a A$AP Rocky meets A$AP Rock YouTube video, and it was oddly unsatisfying.
Yeah, the thing that I saw him at was it was one of those weird like spring fling concerts, and like I had to bring drums for Newfound, and I was like, who else is playing this thing? And it was like 4 college bands from upstate New York, Newfound Glory, and A$AP was headlining, and I was like, this is fucking stupid, but I'm into it.
Veritable who's who of who cares.
Pretty much, yeah. So I think I watched like 4 A$AP songs, and then we left and drove all the way home after. It's great. But yeah, no, it's cool. Post Malone I saw at Gov Ball when I went a couple years ago, and it was like right when he came out, so he played at like 4:00 in the afternoon on the Friday like night show, and he had a huge crowd. Like he was big. Like I think he had like 1 or 2 singles out, and they were huge, but he wasn't anything yet. And I just remember standing there and being like, I don't really care about this guy. So like,
and he probably looks super trashy at that point.
Yeah, I mean, not as trashy as he looks now, but just like, yeah, he's just, I don't know. He wasn't really my thing. He was fucking incredible, and I would go see him every single day if I could. He puts on an amazing show. He sounds incredible. He was awesome. And that was before I even liked him. And now I'm like, oh, I actually like genuinely like this guy. And I know there's more to him. Like I've watched him do rock things. I've watched him do country things. He's fucking talented. So yeah, no, that's cool. I'm really stoked that that's a thing. Yeah, I don't know. The NFL draft happened. Don't really care about the draft. But I was super excited about Pat McAfee, who his
dad started the antivirus company.
No,
Anyway,
I don't
keep
think
going.
so. That's pretty funny though. He was a player. He was on the Colts. But I don't really know much about him except he now has his own like YouTube show. And the whole point of this, he literally like I've heard his name a million times because he's one of those like he's a big player in sports, but he's
like an analyst.
He's like Barstool. Like
Gotcha.
Exactly. He does his own thing, which is where the internet's going, and it's my favorite thing that's ever happened. But he decided to he has a lot of followers. He has like 2 million followers on Twitter. Like he's a massive deal. But he was hosting the unofficial draft party or the draft watch program or something like that. So it was like not connected to the NFL. He wasn't getting he has no affiliation with the NFL after he retired. So there was this breakdown that Ian from SeatGeek did at the beginning of the night where it was like, oh, as of right now, the official NFL like program thing had like 13,000 viewers, which is not that much. McAfee at that same point had 197,000 or something crazy like that. He had this like massive number. So he broke it all down and like why it's important and why McAfee's such a player. He then literally after posting that thread set up a deal while that show was happening in real time for SeatGeek to be the presenting sponsor. And by the end of the night, SeatGeek was trending on Twitter, which hasn't happened in forever because there's been no fucking events. It was like SeatGeek's like re-entry into society. And it happened in real time via Twitter and text. It was unbelievable. I saw a bunch of breakdowns the next day of like how it was done, the actual text threads. Like it was very, very, very impressive. Just the power of the internet is so much better than anything. So I'm all about it.
I got nothing better than that. You want to hit him with that good, Rockwell?
Let's do it.
All right. I am sitting here pokeless. I have been so damn busy that I just, there's plenty of things I can get upset about, but there's really nothing irksome this week. So we went a little long with the first bit. So I'm just going to skip over my poke and run straight into my stoke. And that some company ranked Worcester in the top 20 cities to get stoned in the United States. So I get this email from my editor over at Pulse Magazine. Shout out Josh Lyford. And
my man
he offers me a story where apparently we got ranked 20th of the places to get best places to get stoned and under certain analytics or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know the fucking company that ranked it, truth be told. But we're going to use it as like a stoner's guide to Worcester. That's perfect. I'm working on an article right now about like different places and different experiences to have while in the city stoned.
Okay.
So it's going to be a fun little thing. And I'm trying to go a little tongue in cheek. I got to write like 700, 800 words, which is like 1.5 times my normal column, the 420 and 508, which I got to do both next month. So yeah, so I got to get a little wordy. So I'm going to go like weird and talk about how like everybody's initial thought is to just get stoned and stare at Turtle Boy until he starts speaking to you and explaining just what he's doing to the turtle. But once you get over that, then you can go experience and then go from there.
Okay. I'm into this.
So check for it in an upcoming issue of Pulse Magazine.
Sick. Can you find that online or is it like print only?
Yeah, no, you can find it online. They've been putting them up on Facebook separately. They've been getting their website going. That's a little rough. Yeah. Media's everything's fractured. This yeah.
Feel you. Well, when
They're
it comes
doing the
out,
best they can.
Do me a favor and remind me, and we can like post it.
Word. I think what I'm also going to do is start sharing old columns on my website, so that way,
oh yeah, perfect.
I could link to the original. I think, but at least that information is there.
Oh yeah,
I wrote it. What the hell not?
Right.
What do you got for the people?
Okay, so I realized that my poke, well, I guess I didn't ruin it. I kind of did. Half my poke was leading into that Pat McAfee thing, but I jumped over that and we went into
Jumped
it.
the shark.
I did. I didn't realize. I wrote my notes in a weird way. I'm
Are
prepared.
you mad
but
at
not
his dad
prepared.
that made the antivirus software?
Yes.
Do you like viruses?
Hell no. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I guess my poke. My poke still kind of works though. My poke is NFL talk. So yeah, the draft happened this week. I don't really care about the NFL. It's my least favorite of the four sports, but the Celtics have been really, really bad. There was a lot of buzz around
the draft than the Celtics.
I didn't watch the draft. Fuck no. I followed along through Twitter. I'm not watching a draft. I don't even watch a draft of things I care about. It's so fucking boring. So
there is one guy. Sorry, I just remember watching this. There's one coach that calls around to other coaches during their picks just to harass them.
Really?
I forget who it was. He's well known, and like that's they all answer. It's like, "Shut up, I'm working," and they hang up on him.
Oh, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, it was the only story about the draft that I thought was interesting.
That's very interesting. No, so there was like a bunch of rumors that like Aaron Rodgers was going to get traded, and there was all these different moving, potential moving pieces that didn't happen. So that was cool, but the Patriots drafted at 15. There was a lot of talk if they were going to move up, they were going to trade it, whatever. They took a quarterback, which they need really bad, and then. Of course, like the Celtics are trying to make the playoffs. The Red Sox are actually really good. The Bruins are really, 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 really good and exciting. And all they want to talk about on sports radio is the Patriots and this pick that they made and why it's great, why it's bad. We hate Cam Newton. Like this poor kid that just got drafted, they're already like, they're saying he's Tom Brady. I don't know if he is like fuck. And I know that that's how sports radio is. I get it. I've listened to it forever, but it's just the most like annoying, mind numbing crap. And they talk about it all year long. Talk about the Patriots. I understand it was a draft. I get it. So like, I get that like the first half of the week is going to be heavily Patriots talk. But what the fuck? Like, eventually you got to let it go. But they'll do it all year long. It's always about the Patriots. Like, look, I know the Bruins are in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, but like 6 years ago, Tom Brady lost 2 games in a row, and I just don't think he's ever recovered. Yeah, I know he's won two Super Bowls with the Pats since then, and I know he went on and he won a different one, and we don't really want him here because it's time to move on, but we moved on, but we really want him here. Like, it's just fucking stupid. So my poke is just like, fuck football.
John Dorsey. John Dorsey, who's the Lions executive, prank calls the Colts GM. And he's apparently done this numerous times.
I love it.
GM Chris Ballard. And Chris Ballard hangs up and tells him, shut up, I'm working.
I'm very much into that. That's actually kind of a good segue into my stoke. My stoke is a thing that I would love to have, and I'm definitely actually going to have a conversation with somebody about this because it's just too good not to take advantage of this type of stuff. So the Woo Sox start tonight. The first game in Worcester is next week. The city and the Sox released their parking plan, which is kind of insane, but I get it. And it was just kind of a map of where the parking spots are in the general area. And there was like a radius of like a 5-minute walk and then a radius of a 10-minute walk, which is not that bad. Everybody that has ever been to a baseball game has walked further to get to Fenway, and they've also paid like $60 to park. So the whole like complaining thing is fucking so pathetic. But the funniest thing that's ever happened, and the true meaning of the stoke part of this, the Bravehearts, who I fucking love so much, released. They've been really funny about like the way that this whole baseball thing's been going on with Worcester. They released shortly after a tweet that was like, I guess it's the perfect time to release our parking plan. They actually have like a parking garage on site that's been there forever. And it was like a 30-second radius and then like a 45-second walk radius. It was so good. I was like, dude, this is incredible. Like, this is the tweet of the year. nothing in Worcester could even touch how funny this is. But also like it would make, and I know that it's probably not going to happen because like one of these things is a very corporate entity and the other one is not. This would be a perfect way for the Woo Sox to like kind of have some fun with the Bravehearts, where like if they were like both open to kind of going back and forth, like the whole like, you know how like Wendy's has that like rogue ass Twitter account.
Exactly.
Something like that would actually be really funny.
Like the sign story we saw in the news.
Exactly. And it's beneficial for both teams. It's beneficial because it's like the Woo Sox are using their platform to bring attention to the Bravehearts and like what they're doing. They're not competitive at all. Yes, they're competitors for like ticket prices, but that's it. But it would be like a really good story and like a funny, fun thing to do, kind of lighthearted, like, oh, you know, you got to be able to like take a joke. And it'd be great for the Bravehearts because they would get this, you know, or it'd be great for the Woo Sox because they'd be like, you know, kind of showing some, humility a little bit to what is going on. Either way, I'm going to be going to games at both stadiums. I don't really care.
I saw the Braveheart schedule come out today and I was pumped to see it.
Yeah, so stoked.
Did you see what Nanny did?
I did.
So,
I think that's so funny.
The Red Sox had a thing where if you paid a certain amount of money, you can get a cutout in the stands. So we put it out on the Twitch and we ended up raising not enough for one, but enough for two. So we wanted to put Peterman in a Bravehearts jersey, but we thought that might be a little too inflammatory.
Would have been so good.
So we ended up going with Jose Canseco in a Tornadoes jersey, and he has a Wootenanny smiley face over his chest.
So perfect.
And then I forget her first name. She was an anarchist that owned an ice cream shop here in the city.
I saw that. That's so good.
So, but Sean Connolly, mad props to Sean Connolly.
Kid's a genius.
I haven't met, how do I phrase this? He has like a Bill Wallace level of like weird knowledge and like affinity for this city. And that's, I think, one of the things I find most charming about Sean.
I would have to agree. I would say, I mean, I guess there's I guess thinking about especially the last like maybe 3 years of my life, whenever I've been involved in a lot of conversations about like events or things that are happening for the city on like on a big level. And I feel like the only two names I ever throw out are Sean Connolly and Bill Wallace because nobody else knows anything. Like
not at that level. Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say it doesn't know anything, but I mean like there's both of them. Nobody loves the city more than those two people, but nobody also understands like they're not afraid to say what needs to be said. And it's not in a like, oh my God, I'm doing something like crybaby way, like everybody else. It's a respected,
but matter of fact
way to say it, which Agreed. Like is just the coolest thing. Like they're so cool. It's fucking awesome. So for the longest time, people throughout the world really, people on a global level have been wondering like, oh, you know, when we look back in 50, 60, 75 years, is George Clooney going to be like, he has two? Good. That makes this even better because it makes sense. Is George Clooney going to be the gold status, the icon for DILFs all over the world? And then Sean came out of nowhere and was just like, hey, George.
Sweater on, stash rocking.
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
Yeah. And it's just like really cool to know that man, like the only person who could challenge and defeat Clooney for status of like DILF. There isn't even a question for like who's number two. It's just 1 and 1A. And Sean is real. Like Sean doesn't need that A. He's one. He is number one. Nelly wrote that song about him, about the DILF battle. prior because Nelly can see the future. And it's just a real impressive thing to know that man. Like I've poured Sean coffee. I've poured Sean beer. I have probably enjoyed both of those beverages with him as well as supplied him them after he has paid for them or not paid for them at the dive. Sorry, sometimes the kid just got a party, whatever.
Do you know who he is? He gets free beer. He is?
And anybody who's ever like, hey, did you ever give Sean a free beer at the dive? I'm gonna be like, okay. I have 4 eyes and all of them are for Sean. And that is just, but everybody else is too. Like, whatever.
So yeah, the moral of this story is that Mairead better be jealous of the world.
No, the moral of the story is if you really want to talk about it for a second, Jay-Z and Beyonce are 1A. Sean and Mairead are 1.
Wait, so does that make Davin on par with, oh my God, what is
Blue Ivy?
Yes.
And the twins that nobody knows the names of? Yes. It makes him on a higher level.
So if Blue Ivy, he'd be like Davin.
Okay, think about it this way. Sean, on the only 2 scales that people ever judge a human being are DILF status and power couple status. And Sean is both of those. Granted, Mairead is the bigger part of the couple one, and that's fine. He knows it. Everybody knows it. But Sean is the only living human being to be on a higher level than George Clooney and Jay-Z. And that's a fucking level that nobody is near. Again, there is no 2. There's 1 and there's 1A, and Sean doesn't have a fucking A on his sweater. That's a 1.
Yeah.
That's it. That's fucking it.
I think you've done it, people. I think you've killed an hour. Listen to us ramble. And of course, we are forever grateful. Forever grateful. I said that.
You can't even talk because Sean is the
flabbergasted
of the century.
Find us at SeltzerTime.com. Find me at Hunchback Travis, TravisDuda.com, or Hustle and Work.
Yeah, you guys can find me probably subscribing to Sean's OnlyFans, and that's the only content I'll be consuming for the rest of my life. But also at DickChuck77. Yes, I do follow Sean on every account. And Seltzer Time Official. I'm pretty sure we also follow him on every account on that one as well. Because why only get one slide when you can get both?
I think this just turned into a Sean Connolly Stancast.
It is. It always has been. But now I think
we're just saying the quiet parts out loud.
I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in Sean's way. Oh, wait. No, I can't because there are none. He's number 1. He's number fucking 1.
See you next week, people.
Bye, guys. Even Shakira knows it.